But this event has always been a big part of my life from when I was 12 years old. I think that was when I did my first Ride Joburg event.
The strategy for Sunday is surviving Carla and Joe and Lisa. It's going to be quite a brutal race.
We're quite versatile and we have a lot of options. Anything happens, we'll be ready.
Don't let young smarts get the better of you. I think that has been my Achilles heel the last 2 times I have not managed to get to the top of the podium. It's obviously a tricky time because it's right at the end, but everyone wants to be on form for it because it's a massive race.
I don't have a team with me, so it's going to be a bit tricky. I have to be really paying attention in the first 40-50 Ks that there's no dangerous moves right away, and then once you come into the last 30 is when the race really explodes.
Even though the year started off very well with my win at the SA Road Champs, I have had a little bit more ups and downs throughout the remainder of the year. Hopefully a little bit of an upwards trajectory now to finish it off on a high note.
All I know is that I'm preparing myself for anything at any moment and 100% going to give it my all.
You can see by the numbers of the people that have pulled up that yeah, it's got to be an amazing one.
The road is going to be ours. Nothing is going to disturb us on the road. So I am very happy about that. And then to make new friends and see other people from different places. So it's quite cool.
How I feel this morning, there's a lot of emotions, obviously a bit nervous. I'm excited. It's the last biggest race for South Africa for the year, unless you're doing a double century. But yeah, just a lot of emotions, but the whole purpose of it is to have fun.
I'm so excited because it's my first time. I've been waiting for this. I've been cycling around, trying to practice myself. Hopefully I will be as better as I'm looking for.
We are so excited this Johannesburg because this particular event, it's a global event. Everyone is watching. Everyone is looking forward to see if this particular ride becomes a success. So we're quite excited, and it's because everyone is looking up to Johannesburg to deliver a successful event. So we're quite excited at Joburg. This event contributes a lot to the city of Johannesburg economically. It also contributes to mapping Johannesburg as a city. So it's bringing back that dignity that Johannesburg used to have. So we're happy that this particular event is one of those events that makes sure that that dignity of Johannesburg comes back. And we're quite excited. As you can see, our roads are closed because we want this event to be successful. We've made sure that the safety of our cyclists, our residents who have come all out to support us, they're also safe as well. So we're quite excited, honestly speaking, and we are quite confident that this particular event will be successful today.
It's the day before the main race. It's social, it's fun, it's interactive.
We are just stretching the legs so that tomorrow we can hit the ground running.
How's it, guys? I'm Steve Saunders.
My name's Cherise, Willeit.
And we're here with the Virgin Active Ride Joburg Soweto ride.
We're about to cruise the streets of Soweto with some of our favorite friends.
Yep, 34 kilometers, going to be great fun. The purpose here, opportunity to interact with all the pros.
Showcasing the world-class African city, Soweto, Mandela Villaga District, Mandela House.
We got all the different levels, and we get a chance to sit next to those guys that are real rock stars. Some of the big names here today.
We have Alex Miller, Johan van Zyl, Nick White, the first ever winner of the Ride Joburg. And we're all going to be socialising, we're going to be giving tips with the general public and just having fun out there.
I'm excited to be here acting as the mayor of Johannesburg, having to meet and greet cyclists of Johannesburg, motivating them on having a successful race. So we're all quite excited as a city. We have also contributed towards making sure that this particular race becomes a success. And we want to wish everyone all the best.
The morning was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed the ride to Soweto and the actual experience. So well done to the entire team. I loved it.
We had an absolutely amazing morning riding the roads of Johannesburg. More importantly, riding alongside many development riders through the streets of Soweto. And it's been an excellent initiative by the organisers of Ride Joburg. I'd like to thank all the sponsors that have come together to make this event possible. And cycling in South Africa is going forward, and we are grateful to the partners we have. And I'd like to thank the cyclists and wish them luck for tomorrow's race.
But what an incredible day. It's absolutely amazing. It's all about the chaos, the connection, the socializing.
And beautiful weather. We're super excited.
Yeah, looking forward. We'll see you guys out there.
So it's been a highlight of the racing year. You know, from me being a professional even to now, it's a huge plus point to come and race this race in Johannesburg for the professionals and the fast riders. A day in Joburg to ride on roads you would never ever ride.
We love you so much as the city of Johannesburg, and we are here to give you all the support you need.
You know, the Ride Joburg is only 94 odd Ks, so people often think it's not too long, not too tough, but it's a very challenging route. The first half is relatively downhill if you look at the profile. It doesn't feel that way when you're riding it, but I think a lot of people get carried away, go too hard, and then the second half they suffer.
I think my race number is quite unique. Not everyone is racing the Ride Joburg with the number 947.
R200,000 up for grabs. Yeah, that's massive.
There's a lot of climbs in the back end, so I haven't really marked out anything in the beginning. But I would say from Kailami, you need to be switched on. I'll try just be close to the front end. And then yeah, if the team can send us into the front of the group when we go into Homestead through the houses, that would be perfect. I think the race will light itself up there just based on what it's done in the previous 2 years.
Any advice I can give is to save a lot for the second half. A lot of ups, you know, kind of from Douglasdale up through Homestead, up Janse, and then back to the side of the world. It's definitely a tough and challenging route, but it's a very honest route, so definitely a deserving winner will take the honours.
The classic 94-kilometre lap of Johannesburg is a testing route through the heart of one of the busiest cities on the continent with 1,400 metres of climbing. A swing through Soweto will loosen the legs before they head towards the city and join the M1 highway heading north. After cresting the Parktown Ridge, the long, fast downhill trending road north will be all about staying calm and well positioned. It's a long and lonely road home if you're dropped here. The sharp drag up towards Kailami racetrack is a potential launch pad for teams looking to take control of the race. The 4.5 Ks on the track is halfway and can be very fast. Heading south on Main Road through Blue Hills and Witkoppen, the city centre looms on the horizon in the distance. The rolling hills will start hurting legs and thinning out the bunch. The lush green suburbs of Douglasdale and Bryanston is where the fires will be lit by those keen to have a say in the podium places. It's technical and hilly. Undulations through Rensburg take them to the bridge over the Braamfontein Spruit. This is the start of what is a punishing last 35 Ks. It should see the big guns make it hard as they race all the way up through Hyde Park into Braamfontein on Jan Smuts Avenue. After the Nelson Mandela Bridge, the highway ride back to Soccer City will see the sprinters wanting to hide and the Rolliers attacking to try and drop them before the fast and technical finish in the shadow of the iconic stadium. As befits a race with the richest prize in the country, the elite men's start batch was packed with the best in the business, all vying for a shot at the 200 grand pot of gold. Nerves are on edge, and a touch of wheels brought down a dozen or so riders inside the first 3 kilometres. Terrible start for them. Excitement and ambition led to a few early attackers. But they were soon neutralised as Team Honeycomb brought their big men Bradley Scott and Casper Kruger to the front. Also near the front were the RKC Collective team, Avenir Vision and Team Peak Racing. The small crash a reminder to the top teams to stay as far forward as possible. "35 minutes after the elite men, the elite and under 23 women were ready to roll away from Soccer City. Defending champion Carla Oberholzer had added another national champions jersey to her collection early in the year. The Sandton City Cycle Nation team were a real force in this race, along with customised Pertec. Outside of those teams, there were numerous very strong solo riders, like 2022 winner Vera, the Namibian champion, Zimbabwe's Faith Tuwe, and Namibia's under-23 champion Monique du Plessis moved up to the front as they rolled along at a relatively sedate pace. Lisa Bone has had a good year, claiming her first elite win at the Dis-Chem Ride for Sight. A third Namibian, Henri Krugel, did a turn as well. For now, the women's peloton not in too much of a hurry. On the double-decker section of the M1, in the men's race, Danielle Matthews of the KZN-based Siata team went on the attack. The 25-year-old is a formidable track racer and won the silver medal at the Omnium and the African Championships this year. He was hoping to entice a few others out of the bunch to form a significant breakaway. On the drag up to the Parktown Ridge, a rocket came flying past him in the shape of Travis Stedman, the winner in 2021. The Q36.5 Pro was also hoping for some allies. Then it was Christian Kloppers, Sianda Gumeri and Alwyn Steenkamp on the move. Klopper spent the second half of this year racing in Europe with the Nippo EF Marigues club team and looked to make it hard. But it was tough to get away from a huge peloton of just short on 200 riders while charging down the M1 highway at 80 km an hour. The team of defending champion Mark Pritson, Team Honeycomb, was on a mission to control the race. Scott and Van Dijk doing their bit on the front. What an amazing privilege for all these riders in the Virgin Active Ride Joburg to ride on one of the busiest highways in Africa. The women's race was on the M1 to the south of the city and all together. Tiffany Keep, winner of the Cape Town Cycle Tour this year, had Tennille Otto next to her, with the rest of the top contenders keeping a watching brief behind. There was little urgency for now. The riders were not prepared to expend energy this early in the race, bearing in mind the brutal nature of the last 35 kilometres where the bulk of the climbing hides. Otto, in the blue and white jersey, spent 2023 racing in Europe for the Belgian continental team Duala Chevrolet Mare. And this year, on the back of some impressive results, was chosen for the South African team to race the World Championships, along with Tiffany Keep, Sonara Grove and Ashley Moore-Montasio. Oberholzer, though, was never far from the front, taking on fuel. A smiling Lisa Bone rolled through for a brief stretch of her legs on the front. An iconic sporting venue north of Johannesburg, Kyalami Racetrack, was next for the Team Honeycomb-led men's race. Johan Trotsky was setting the tempo. It was wicked. The 4.5 Ks of smooth tar was an ideal place to try and rip the race apart. After Leeuwkop corner, Casper Kruger took over on the front. Like a swarm of bees, they followed the big man down through the famous S's, Clubhouse and Sunset corners before leaving the track. Honeycomb had two cards to play with Pritson and Swiss rider Felix Steele, who'd won the Amashovra a few weeks ago. That pair sat at the rear of the Honeycomb train as they drove the tempo up towards the turn into Maine Road. Back with the women's race, they were going past Marlborough on the M1. They were riding past a group of veteran men who'd moved over to the left of the road to allow the faster-moving women's group to go by unhindered. Going out on her own was Stacey Lee Paul in the colours of Complete Cyclist. There appeared to be no perceptible reaction from the main peloton. They were happy to let her go. As Bianca Nell showed, as she kept a watching brief from the front of the peloton. Maddie Leroux was among the pre-race podium favourites. With the Kyalami racetrack approaching, she was at the sharp end. Meanwhile, Stacey Lee Paul enjoyed the clockwise lap around Kyalami racetrack in splendid isolation. She'd opened a gap of just over a minute on the rest of the pack. Kyalami can be a turning point in the race. It's the halfway mark, and if you're not able to stay with the bunch here, you've got a long ride alone. Not for Stacey Lee Paul though, she was having the ride of her life, leading solo in the richest race in the land. Behind her, riders were starting to get distanced. Kyalami had been the catalyst for some serious action in the men's race. They were on Maine Road, and those who had ambitions of winning were in the game. Alwyn Steenkamp of TEG had a dart. ASAP's Reinardt Hofmeyr was alive to his move. Thokozani Mhlangu was keeping his hopes alive by staying with the front of the race. Honeycomb's Tristan Nokia just checking to see where the rest of his squad were. It was all focused now. Don't want to get left behind. RKC Collective were attentive and wary of the Honeycomb team's power. The King of the Mountains near Mgcina carried an enticing incentive to gamble and go all in, which is what Rodney Masemola did. Keenan Ruud, Ruan de Ploy, Kent Maine and Chris Jooster of the RKC Collective team. Meanwhile, Stacey Lee Paul was still out front in the women's race by all of about 2 minutes. Willeit was up the road, as she led them past Mgcina. The chase, though, was on behind. Melissa Kretzinger of Team Customised had Tiffany Keep, Vera and Hayley Preen behind her. Into Douglas, Dale and Bryanston, and Paul was showing signs of fatigue. Hayley Preen in the freewheel psychology kit had only been on her bike a week after recovering from wrist surgery. She'd made a late call to swap her competition-winning show jumping horse for a bicycle and looked in good form. Lisa Bone took it upon herself to chase down leader Paul. And she duly caught her at the top of Homestead Avenue. Using all her remaining stocks of energy, Stacey Lee hooked onto a wheel. Mandela Bridge was up the road, but charging up Janse Avenue were the men. Mountain biker Nokia on the front for Honeycomb. Pritson on his wheel, then Maine. And the first sighting of Ryan Gibbons, the national champion, at fourth wheel. At the steepest part, Pritson launched an attack. Maine held his wheel, as did Gibbons, Jaedon Terlow, Reinardt, Janse van Rensburg, Hofmeyr, Stedman, and Gustav Roller. World Tour pro Ryan Gibbons was clearly up for the race today, as was Cape Town's Reinardt Hofmeyr and Warren Millman of TEG as they charged through Lower Rosebank. A group of 7 on the front took on the big climb from the S-Bends at Willeit up to Westcliff. It was intense racing. Mountain bikers like Cronje Bierkes were strong and mixing it with the seasoned road pros. Over the 42 railway lines spanned by Mandela Bridge and back onto the M1. A massive effort by Mark Pritson had dragged a whole lot of riders back to the front. A big bunch was closing in on the finish. At the base of the Unsmuts climb, Lisa Bone led Stacey Lee Paul in the women's race. The business end of the race was approaching. At Hyde Park, Oberholzer went to the front, Preen on a wheel and looking comfortable. The group was down to the strongest 9 riders, and the race was well and truly on as they charged through Dunkeld. On Mandela Bridge, it was clear the winner in the women's race would come from this group. It was a fascinating mix. Mountain bikers, strong sprinters and rolliers, all in the mix. Who would it be? Maddie Leroux led past the stadium, Sonara Grove on her wheel. The men's finish turned into a thriller. Ryan Gibbons carried great momentum out of the left-hand corner at the bottom and raised his arms in triumph as he beat Reinhardt Janse van Rensburg into second with Jaedon Terlow in third. A breathtaking race at an average of 45 k's an hour as Ryan Gibbons claimed his first Virgin Active Ride Joburg victory ahead of two-time winner rider Janse van Rensburg, for whom this was the last professional race. Youngsters Jaedon, Terlow, Emil van Keick and Namibian champion mountain biker Alex Miller closed out the top 5. Mauritian Aurélien de Comamont was one of the 3 international riders in the top 10. Switzerland's Felix Stili was the best of the honeycomb riders in 10th.
Yeah, it was super fast coming into the last. I was caught out in a bad position. I think probably like 5th or 6th through that last corner, and I know you need to be top 2 if you want to take the win here. So I was not in a great position, but we made it work, and yeah, 3rd it was.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite races here. Last race for me as a professional rider, so next races will be a little bit more relaxed, I guess. So it was a good way to finish my career over here.
It's always quite a difficult and challenging sprint. We saw last year Maine taking that corner and crashing around it, so you know it's always a bit of a nervous one. But I went down Reinardt from Rensburg, you know, such a talented rider, good pedigree. He's won here before many times, so I thought that was a good wheel to follow. Unfortunately, had the legs come around him at the end.
The women's finish was as thrilling. Sonara Grove used her track power and nous to outsprint Vera and Hayley Preen and take a wonderful win. Grove adding the Virgin Active Ride Joburg title to her win at the Amershove and 2nd at the Cape Town Cycle Tour. Who also showed her strength from an outstanding year in the gravel and mountain bike scene, and a remarkable ride from Preen, who a week ago was winning a show jumping title and just 6 weeks ago having wrist surgery. Defending champion Carla also was outsprinted to Neil Otto in 5th. Lisa Bone did a mountain of work for the Sandton City team, and Kelsey van Skoor and Melissa Kretziger were the 2 customised riders in the top 10, just ahead of Tiffany Keith.
I'm very happy. I was not expecting any result today, I don't think, so to be on the podium, I couldn't be happier.
It was a very fair sprint, so I can't be too bummed to becoming 2nd, but obviously you always want the top step, otherwise we wouldn't be professional athletes and we wouldn't be racing our hearts out every time.
4th wheel was not where I wanted to come around on that corner. It was Carla, Vera, Hayley. I had Vera's wheel, which probably benefited me a little bit because I knew she was the quickest rider other than myself going into it. So we went the long way around there, the left side's the long way around, went the long way around, and yeah, that finish felt like it took really long to come. I thought she had it, and then I was like, no, we've still got time to go here, I can do this.
You stay cycling until you're old, you only get old when you stop cycling.
It's a beautiful Sunday morning at the Virgin Active Ride Joburg road event. It is spectacular to see so many riders taking part in this road race. We've seen the elite men, the elite ladies, we've seen charity riders and everybody else that just loves the day out taking on the roads of Johannesburg.
Virgin Active is incredibly proud to be the title sponsor of the Virgin Active Ride Joburg for the 3rd year. And just to see the cyclists out and celebrating the city of Joburg, we're incredibly proud to be part of that.
Riding from Mozambique, this is my 12th time riding this race. I love it.
Good to see the support. So like just take it easy, ride with your mates, do it for a good purpose. Yeah.
I'm finding it exceptional. It is wonderful to ride with these guys.
Traveled all the way from them to ride. So yeah, everyone has every reason why they're doing it, but we're doing it for fun.
From Blue with love.
The water stations are brilliant.
But this is my 27th ride. I've done 26 to date. And I finished all of them, and I suppose this is called an institution. That's why we do it, we come back again. Once you're a cyclist, always a cyclist, it's in your blood.
It's one of the most iconic races, and also like as cyclists we get to shut the whole of Joburg.
The stuff is world class, man. It's probably one of the best races in the world.
This event is meaningful for community engagement. It's a platform that we use for people to ride for a purpose, for people to ride for fitness and promote a healthy environment for themselves